It's the closing weekend of the 2013 Minnesota Fringe Festival, but there are still plenty of shows to see. The top-selling show in each venue will get an added 6th performance at 8:30 on Sunday. These audience pick shows will be announced at 11 p.m. on Saturday at Fringe Central, as well as online. There is still no photography, recording, or cell phone use of any kind allowed during the show. If you're done fringing for the day, check out www.fringefestival.org to plan out the rest of your weekend. If you have any questions, just find a Fringe staff member in a green shirt. Thanks.
I never really understood my father. At least, not as much as I wanted to, or needed to. Maybe that's the way it is for most fathers and mothers. I don't know. Mine happened to be a writer. And a pretty good trout fisherman, too. And eventually, an alcoholic. Maybe it wasn't a shock to most people that knew him really well when he took his life. But for me, his death left a hole in me that I didn't know how to fill. He once told me that everything I needed to know about him was written in his book in Watermelon Sugar. For years, I avoided it, afraid of what I might find. But some days, I hear his voice calling out to me. And today is one of those days. Maybe it's time I finally open up the cover and read it. I guess you're kind of curious as to who I am, but I am one that does not have a regular name. My name depends on you. Just call me whatever is in your mind. Perhaps you stared into a river. There was somebody near you that loved you. They were about to touch you. You could feel this before it happened. And then it happened. That is my name. Or perhaps you heard somebody calling
from a great distance.
Their voice
was almost an echo. That is my name. Or perhaps.
Hey, what's up?
How much, Fred? Just working away here.
Well, I just came down from the watermelon works. I want you to go down there with me tomorrow. There's something I just gotta show you.
All right.
Good. Well, then I guess I'll see you at iDeath for dinner tonight then. I hear Pauline's making dinner. That means we're gonna have something good. I am sick of Al's cooking. If I have carrots one more time this week, I am just gonna scream.
Well, Pauline's a good cook. Hey, what is that in your pocket, Fred?
Oh, I found it in the woods on the way up from the watermelon works today. I don't know what it is myself. I've never seen anything like it. What do you think it is?
Well, it looks like one of those things Inblo and his gang used to dig up down at the Forgotten Works, but I've never seen anything like it.
I'll show it to Charlie. Charlie will know what it is. Charlie knows about everything there is.
Yeah, Charlie knows a lot. As a matter of fact, last month Charlie said to me,
You know, you don't seem to like making statues or doing anything else. Why don't you write a book? The last one was written 35 years ago. I mean, it's time somebody else wrote another book. You know, I remember it was written 35 years ago, but I do not remember what it was about. There's a copy of it in the sawmill.
do you know who wrote it?
No. But he was like you. He didn't have a regular name.
Well, what were the other books about?
Let's see. I think there was one about owls. There was one about pine needles. Very boring. There was one about the Forgotten Works. You know, theories about how it got started, where it came from and stuff. The guy who wrote the book, his name was Mike. He took a long trip into the Forgotten Works. He went in maybe 100 miles. He was gone for weeks. He went beyond those high piles we see on clear days. He said there were piles beyond it that were even higher.
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Yeah, so he wrote a book about his journey. I mean, it wasn't a bad book. It was a lot better than the books we find in the Forgotten Works. Those are terrible. He said he was lost for days. Came across things that were 2 miles long and green. Wouldn't say anything else about them, just that they were 2 miles long and green.
Huh.
That's his tomb there, by that statue of the frog.
I know that tomb well. He has blonde hair and he's wearing a pair of rust-colored overalls.
Yeah, that's him.
We all gather at iDeath for dinner. I guess you could call it a big meeting place where everybody from Watermelon Sugar is welcome to join. There's a river that runs through the living room, and there's lots of great conversation and food.
This stew is good.
Well, I made it just the way you like it.
How's the book coming?
Fine. Just fine.
Just hope it's not about pine needles.
This stew is really good. I mean, it's a lot better than carrots.
It certainly is, Fred, just as long as it isn't about pine needles.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like carrots. It's just that too much of a good thing can hurt you.
I've never heard of anyone getting hurt by a carrot. Well, thank you for dinner, Pauline.
I'll do the dishes, Pauline.
Thanks, Fred. So how's the book coming?
Fine.
What's it about?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it a secret?
No.
Is it a romance, like one of the books from the Forgotten Works?
No, it's not like one of those books.
I remember when I was a child, we used to burn those books for fuel. There were so many of them. They burned for a really long time. There aren't that many now.
No, it's just a book.
All right, I'll get off you. But you can't blame a person for being curious. Nobody's written a book here for so long. Certainly not in my lifetime.
Hey there!
Oh, hi, Fred.
Thanks for doing the dishes.
Oh, my pleasure. Now, I'm sorry to bother you people, but I just wanted to come up and remind you about seeing me down at the Watermelon Works tomorrow. There's something I want to show you.
I haven't forgotten. What's it about?
We'll show you tomorrow.
All right.
Good. Well, I know you two have a lot to talk about, so I'll go. Oh, but that certainly was a good dinner, Pauline.
Thanks.
Well, I just wanted to remind you about coming up to the Watermelon Works with me tomorrow. It's kind of important.
Well, don't feel as if you should rush off. Sit down and join us for a while.
Oh, no, I gotta go. There's something I need to do with my check.
Okay.
Oh, goodbye.
Thanks for doing the dishes.
Oh, think nothing of it.
So, how is Margaret taking all this?
I don't know.
Well, is she hurt or mad or saw yesterday near the watermelon works. I said hello, but she walked past without saying anything. She seemed terribly upset.
I don't know how she feels.
I thought she'd be at iDeath tonight, but she wasn't there. I don't know why I thought she'd be there. Just a feeling I had. I was wrong. Have you seen her?
No.
I wonder where she's staying.
I think she's staying with her brother.
I feel bad about this. Margaret and I were such good friends. All the years we spent together at iDeath, they're just like sisters. I'm sorry things had to work out the way they did. There wasn't anything we could do about it.
The heart is something else. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
You're right.
How have you been sleeping?
All right, I guess. Last night I had a dream about the tigers. I wonder why they could speak our language.
Nobody knows. But they could speak it. Charlie says maybe we were all tigers once and changed, but they didn't. I don't know. It's an interesting idea, though.
I never heard their voices. I was just a child when there were only a few tigers left, old ones, and they barely came out of the hills. They were too old to be dangerous, and they were hunted all the time. I was 6 years old when they killed the last tiger. I remember the hunters bringing it to iDeath. There were hundreds of people with them. They said they had killed it up in the hills that day, and it was the last tiger. When they brought the tiger to iDeath, everybody came with them. They covered it with wood and soaked the wood down with watermelon trot oil. Gallons and gallons of it. I remember people threw flowers in the pile and stood around crying because it was the last tiger. And Charlie took a match and lit the fire. It burned with a great orange glow for hours, and black smoke poured into the air. Burned until there was nothing left but ashes. And then the men began right then and there building the trout hatchery at iDeath, right over the spot where the tigers had been burned. It's hard to think of that now when we're down there dancing. I guess you remember all this. You were there too? You're standing right next to Charlie.
That's right. They had beautiful voices.
I never heard them.
Perhaps that was for the best.
Maybe you're right. Tigers.
Pauline had gotten me thinking about the tigers. I sat there and thought about how they killed and ate my parents. We lived together in a shack by the river. My father raised watermelons and my mother baked bread. I was going to school. I was 9 years old and I was having trouble with my arithmetic. One morning,
The tigers came in while we were eating breakfast. And before my father could have a weapon, they killed him and they killed my mother. My parents didn't even have time to say anything before they were dead. I was still holding the spoon from the mush I was eating.
Don't be afraid. We're not going to hurt you. We don't harm children. Just sit there where you are and we'll tell you a story.
What kind of story would you like to hear? I know a good story about a rabbit.
I don't want to hear a story.
Okay.
Those were my folks.
Oh, we're sorry. We really are.
Yeah, we wouldn't do this if we didn't have to. If we weren't absolutely forced to. But this is the only way that we can keep alive.
We're just like you. We speak the same language you do, and we think the same thoughts. We're tigers.
You could help me with my arithmetic.
What's that?
Oh, my arithmetic.
Oh, your arithmetic.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
Oh, what's 9 times 9?
81.
8 times 8?
56.
6 times 6.
36.
7 times 4.
28.
All right, that's enough. Now go away.
Okay, I'll go outside.
Oh, but don't go too far. We don't want anyone to come up here and kill us.
Okay.
It's a nice day.
It sure is. Beautiful.
Sun will set, sun will rise. We'll forget all the lies. Trees will grow way up high. They must fall, and so must I. Innocent, not so fast. Honesty becomes past. We preserve people's youth. We accept what is true. I'm awfully sorry we had to kill your parents and eat them. Please, try to understand.
The tigers are not evil. This is just something that we have to do.
All right. Thanks for helping me with my arithmetic.
Think nothing of it.
I'm an orphan.
I went over to iDeath and told Charlie that the tigers were eating my parents.
What happened? Tigers just ate my parents.
What a shame.
The tigers are always so nice. Why do they have to go and do things like that?
They can't help themselves. I like the tigers too. I've had a lot of great conversations with them. They're very nice and have a good way of stating things, but, well, they're going to have to go soon.
They helped me with my arithmetic.
They're very helpful. And dangerous. What are you going to do now?
I don't know.
Well, how'd you like to stay here at iDeath?
That sounds great.
Fine. Then it's settled.
That night, I went back to my shack and I set fire to it. I didn't take anything with me and I went and I lived at iDeath. That was 20 years ago, though it seems like it was only yesterday.
What's 8 times 8?
Clean your shirt.
Thanks.
I wonder if Margaret will be here today. I'll be glad when we're talking again.
Don't worry. Everything will be all right.
It's just, well, Margaret and I are such good friends, and I always liked you before, but I never thought we'd be anything but friends, and you and Margaret have known each other for years. I just hope everything works out, and Margaret finds someone new and will be my friend again.
Don't worry about it. It'll all work out. I've got some work to do. I'll see you later.
All right.
Margaret, I had breakfast this morning.
No, she wasn't.
Looks like the school teacher's out for a walk this morning and he's coming our way.
Well, how's the book coming?
All right.
I'll be very curious to see it. Always had a way with words. I remember that essay you wrote for me on the weather in the 6th grade. That was quite something. Your description of the winter clouds is very moving and quite accurate at the same time.
contained a certain amount of poetic content. Yes, I'll be very curious to see your book. Can you give me a hint of what it is about? Have you expanded your essay on the weather, or is the book about something else?
Well, it's coming along. It's pretty hard to talk about, but you'll be one of the first to see when I finish it.
I've always had faith in you as a writer. You know, I always thought about writing a book myself, but teaching absorbs just too much of my time. Yes, I always thought I'd write a book about teaching, but so far I've just been too busy teaching to write. But it is very inspiring to me to see one of my former star pupils carry the glorious banner for what I myself have been too busy to do. Good luck.
Thank you. I've got some work to do. I'll see you later.
What? You said you would go up to the watermelon works with me today.
That's right. Well, let's go.
And so we went to the watermelon works, where sugar was being boiled down, a different color for every day of the week. The sugar was then made into everything we build our lives from.
Looks like the workers have knocked off early for lunch today.
Lunch.
Today we're making golden plains.
Where are we going?
Oh, yeah. This way. Oh, come on. Okay. Do you see it?
Well, it's pretty dark. Wait, what is that?
It's a bat! Oh. So, what do you think?
Yeah? What?
I found him down there a couple of days ago. Doesn't that just beat everything?
Well, it's got a head start.
On the way back to my shack, I spotted the grand old trout. He was watching the tube crew put in a new tune, sinking it down into the bed of the river, its glass door shining in the setting sunlight. He would sit there and wait until one of us would be placed in it, to be seen for all eternity.
Grand old trout had seen it all, and it looked at me with wise old eyes. I looked back, connecting to the river that flowed between us.
When I got back to my shack, I felt tired, so I lay down, and I was soon fast asleep. I then had a long dream, which was the history of Inboil, and that gang of his, and the terrible things that they did just a few short months ago.
Boyle was about 50 years old, I guess, and born and raised in Ianthe. I remember sitting on his knee as a kid and having him tell me stories, and there were some pretty good ones too. And Margaret was there. Then he turned bad. It happened over a couple of years. He kept getting mad at things that were of no importance and going out by himself to the trout hatchery at iDeath. He began spending a lot of time down at the Forgotten Works. He became very removed from people, and his speech would be strange, and his movements jerky, and his temper bad. It wasn't long before he gathered up a gang of men who felt and acted just like him, and they all went to live in the Forgotten Works, drinking whiskey and living in shacks. All of them, no good. Just like him.
And then one day over dinner, a big fight between Charlie and Inboil happened. Inboil was drunk all the time, and he wouldn't listen to anyone, not even Charlie. They were just passing the mashed potatoes when it all began.
You know, what's wrong with this place?
No, Inboil, what's wrong? You seem to have all the answers these days. Tell me.
I will tell you. This place stinks. This isn't iDeath at all. It's just a figment of your imagination. You guys are a bunch of clocks doing clocky things at your clocky iDeath. This place is nothing but a claptrap. You wouldn't know iDeath if it walked up and bit you. You wouldn't know iDeath. I know more about iDeath in my little finger than all of you put together. To hell with your iDeath. I know about iDeath. I know. I'm going to the Forgotten Works to live. You You guys can have this damn rat hole.
Well, don't feel bad about it, Charlie. He's just drunk, and as soon as he sobers up, it'll be different. Tomorrow, when he's sober, things will be better.
Oh, I think he's gone for good. Just hope it works out for the best.
Sorry, Charlie. It's gotta be hard to lose your brother.
And so the years passed, with him Boyle living down at the Forgotten Works, digging up forgotten things and gathering a gang of men who were just like him, making whiskey from the things that they found there. Margaret
Grew up to be a very pretty young woman, and we went steady together. She came over to my shack one day. I knew it was her because she stepped on that board she always stepped on whenever she crossed that bridge. And it pleased me to hear it. Oh, hi, Margaret.
What are you doing today?
I have to go down to iDeath and work on my statue.
Are you still working on that bell?
Yes, it's taking longer than I expected. It's taking too long. I'll be glad when it's done. I'm tired of the thing.
What are you doing afterwards?
I don't know. Is there anything you want to do, honey?
Yes. I'd like to go to the Forgotten Works and poke around.
Again? You certainly like to spend a lot of time down there.
It's a curious place.
You're about the only woman that goes down there. Boyle and that gang of his put the other women off.
I like it there. Boyle is harmless. All he wants to do is stay drunk.
All right. It's nothing. Meet me down at iDeath later on. I'll be with you as soon as I put in a few more hours on that bell.
Okay. See you then.
Give me a kiss first.
I worked on that bell for a couple of hours, but it was not coming along at all. Finally, I just put my chisel down and stared absent-mindedly at it.
How's it coming?
It's finished.
Doesn't look finished.
It's finished. Ready to go?
Ready? Got my basket too, just in case I find some good things.
Have you ever got moss in there? I mean, especially with that sign.
Are you in that sign that says, "This is the Forgotten Works"? Be careful, you might be lost. Yeah, no, I'm pretty careful. I don't know.
Down here again, huh?
Just visiting.
Good afternoon, boy.
Oh, same to you, pretty. I don't take offense. Just being social.
We're just down here to look at the Forgotten Works.
She's all yours. Guys, let them look around. Enjoy.
It's getting pretty steamy in here. The place is more dead than anything. There's no plants growing, no animals living here. Not even the birds would fly over this place. I don't even see a blade of grass. Have you found anything you like?
Did you find anything you like?
Not yet.
Oh, I found some real interesting things just before lunch. Just up ahead, I can show you if you'd like.
Oh, let's go.
But
Oh, it's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Here they are.
They're beautiful.
I think it's time we start to head back.
But we just got here. I need to get the rest of these for my collection.
We need to go. Now, Margaret.
All right. What's wrong? What have I done?
Nothing. You've done nothing.
Why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Toward the end of the month, strange rumors began coming up from the Forgotten Works. Rumors of violent denouncements of iDeath by M. Boyle. All this time, Margaret continued to go down there, alone. She was so pretty, and Imboyle and his gang were so ugly. They might get ideas.
So
So
one
what
day
did
I
you
went
want?
with her. She said she needed more things for her forgotten collection. She already had more things that were necessary. I asked Imboyle what was up.
You really don't know what's going on with iDeath. I'm gonna show you something about it too. You guys are a bunch of sissies. Only the tigers had any guts. I'm gonna show you something about it soon. Oh no, we're gonna show you.
You tell him, Imboyle.
We're getting out of here now.
Why? Ready?
Let's go.
Well, we just got here.
I'd like to know why you insist on coming down here.
I like forgotten things. I think they're cute. I want a collection of them. What is so wrong with that?
What do you mean, what's wrong with that? Didn't you hear what the drunken bum said about us?
What does that have to do with forgotten things?
They drink the stuff.
Dinner that night was unsettled. Everyone was on edge about Imboyle and the threats that he had made.
I don't know what's going to happen. It looks serious. I've been afraid that something like this was going to happen ever since Imboyle took to making that whiskey of his and getting those men to go down there and live his kind of life.
What are we going to do? What can we do?
Just wait. That's all we can do. I mean, we can't threaten them or defend ourselves until they've done something. Who knows what they're going to do? They won't tell us.
I went down there yesterday morning and I asked Imboyle what was up, but all they said was, we'd see soon enough that they would show us what iDeath really was.
What do you know about this, Margaret? You spent a lot of time down there lately.
I don't know anything. I just get forgotten things down there. They don't tell me anything. They're always very nice to me.
Well, we can take care of anything that happens. Those drunken bums can't do anything we can't handle.
You're right. We can handle them. We live at iDeath.
I left iDeath and walked back to my shack. I laid there for a long time, thinking about everything. I then decided to go for one of those walks I take when I can't get to sleep. I went walking down by the aqueduct. I'm not sure why there's an aqueduct here. There's water everywhere. I walked for a long time, then sat down at the edge of the aqueduct, thinking about nothing.
The night was passing by with me sitting there. Then I saw a lantern far away, moving in and out of the woods and up one street and down another. I knew who that lantern belonged to. It was in the hands of a girl. I had seen her many times before walking at night, but I never saw her up close and I didn't know who she was. I knew she was sort of like me. Sometimes she had trouble sleeping at night. It always comforted me to see her, but I never tried to find out who she was.
The next morning, we were all at iDeath, just talking, when we were suddenly interrupted.
What's that noise?
I'll go see. Charlie, it's Imboyle. He says he wants to see you. He says he wants to see all of us.
I guess it's time.
You people think you know about iDeath. You know nothing about iDeath.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing. You're all at a masquerade party. I'm going to show you something.
What do you know that we don't know?
Let me show you. Let us into the trout hatchery, and we'll show you a thing or two.
Yeah.
Or are you afraid to find out what iDeath is really about? What a mockery you've made of it. All of you. You talk more than the rest of these clowns.
All right, enough. Come on, then. Show us iDeath.
The trout hatchery is a place that holds special importance, since it was built where the last tiger was killed. It was built with great care, watermelon sugar and stones gathered from a great distance. There are 2 people buried at the bottom of the hatchery. You can look down past the young trout from beyond the glass doors of their coffins. They are two founders of the hatchery, and Charlie's parents.
What have you done?
When are we gonna get to iDeath?
We're already in iDeath.
What is this place?
iDeath!
When are we gonna get to iDeath? I probably now trick.
Yeah. After you leave here, everywhere you walk is filth.
Don't be that way.
How should I be? Look at you.
All right. We've been curious about what you've been saying for years about us not knowing anything about iDeath and you having all the answers. So let's see some of those answers.
This is what it's all about. You don't really know what's going on with iDeath. You killed the tigers, and you burned the last one in here. That was all wrong. All wrong! Tigers should have never been killed. Never! You killed the tigers, so iDeath went away.
That's right.
We're going to bring iDeath back. Yeah. My gang here and me, I've been thinking about it for years. We're bringing iDeath back. iDeath will be again.
What are you going to do with that knife?
I'll show you. All right, men. Off with our thumbs! Hell yeah!
Why have you done this?
So in the beginning.
Well, you all look silly without your thumbs.
Beginning. This is what iDeath should really look like. All right, men. Off with our noses! Hell iDeath! All right, men. Off with our ears. Hell iDeath! Cut it off! You already cut it off! Look, we've done it. This is really iDeath.
No. I'm gonna go get something to clean this home.
I hope you think you've accomplished something. Because I don't think you've accomplished anything.
I'm iDeath.
You're an asshole.
Well, that's that.
Yeah, I wonder what that was all about.
I think they shouldn't have drunk the whiskey they made. I think it was a mistake.
Charlie, what are we going to do with the bodies? We're not going to bury them in tombs, are we?
No, we have to do something else.
Take them back to their shacks at the Forgotten Works and burn them. Burn their shacks. Burn them together and then forget them.
Good idea.
What a terrible thing.
And so, we put the bodies into the wagon and headed toward the Forgotten Works. We looked like a parade, barely moving toward you might get lost. When we got there, everybody seemed to believe that Incoil and the gang were dead.
Hey, what's up?
Where have you been?
At the Forgotten Works, I came down here early this morning before sunrise to look for things. What's wrong?
Didn't you hear?
No?
Was Inboyle down here when you came here this morning?
No, they were all asleep. Where is Inboyle?
I don't even know if I can tell you. He's dead. And all of his gang, too.
Dead? You must be joking. Why?
They all came up to iDeath a few hours ago and killed themselves in the trout hatchery. We brought their bodies here to burn them. They made a terrible scene.
I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Is this some kind of joke?
It's no joke.
Is this true?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Nobody knows. They just came up to iDeath and they killed themselves. It's a mystery to us.
How'd they do it?
With knives.
This morning?
Yes.
A couple of months later, I was going down for a walk down by the aqueduct. And I ran into Fred.
How's Margaret doing?
You haven't seen her or heard from her?
No.
She's in pretty bad shape over you and Pauline. She's having a hard time adjusting to it. You know, I saw her brother yesterday. He says she's got a broken heart.
Can't help that.
Why are you mad at her? You don't think she had anything to do with Inwell just because everyone else does. Doesn't even make any sense. There's no proof. It's just coincidence that linked them together. You don't think she had anything to do with Inwell, do you?
I don't know.
Well, I gotta get back to work. The plank press calls me. What are you gonna do?
I think I'll go write, work on my book for a while.
Sounds ambitious. It's not a book about the weather like the school teacher said, is it?
No, it's not about the weather.
Good. I don't think I'd want to read a book about the weather.
Have you ever read a book?
No. But I mean, I don't want to read one about clouds to start.
Everything is reflected in the statue of mirrors. If you stand there long enough and empty your mind of everything but the mirrors, and you must be careful not to want anything from the mirrors. An hour or so passed and my mind rained out. I could see the town, and iDeath, and the forgotten works. I saw Charlie in the kitchen, buttering some toast. I saw Pauline walking up through the piney woods up towards my shack. I saw some kids playing baseball. I saw Fred down at the Forgotten Works, making some watermelon, the golden plank out of watermelon sugar.
I saw
Margaret.
climbing an apple tree beside her shack. She was crying and had a scarf knotted around her neck. She took the loose end of the scarf and tied it to a branch. She stepped off the branch and then she was standing by herself in the air. I stopped looking into the statue of mirrors. I'd seen enough for that day. Margaret was dead. I went to see Fred.
Hey, what's up?
It's Margaret.
Well, have you seen her or heard from her?
Yes.
What happened?
She's dead. I saw her in the statue of mirrors. She hung herself from an apple tree with her blue scarf.
When did this happen?
Just a little while ago. Nobody knows she's dead yet.
I guess we better go find her brother then.
Where's he at?
He's helping a farmer put a new roof on his barn. Well, why would she do a thing like that? She's so young. She's so young.
I don't know. I don't know why she killed herself.
I don't even want to think about it. Like, you don't have the slightest idea, huh? You haven't seen her or heard from her?
No, I saw her in the statue of mirrors and she hanged herself. She's dead now.
I don't like this at all. Here's her brother now.
Oh, hello there. What brings you up this way? What's wrong?
It's Margaret.
What's wrong with Margaret? You can tell me.
She's dead.
best. Nobody's to blame. She had a broken heart.
We went to the tree and lowered Margaret's body gently down. Her brother took her in his arms, and we headed towards the Forgotten Works. When we got there, everybody seemed to have already heard the news.
Why?
I don't know.
Where should I put her? On the couch, on the rack in the cow hatchery. That's where we put her. I don't want to move away. I'll show you.
This is horrible. I feel so bad. Why did she kill herself? Was it my fault for loving you?
It was nobody's fault. These things just happen.
Margaret and I were such good friends. We were just like sisters. I hate to think it was my fault.
Don't.
It's all right with you. She'll be buried in that tomb we finished working on today. That would be perfect. I'll have the funeral tomorrow morning. It'll be dark and there won't be any sound, but I think we can manage.
Okay.
Fred, will you tell some people in town about the funeral? Some of them might want to go. Tell the tomb crew and see if you can find some flowers.
Sure, Charlie. I'll take care of it.
It's our custom to brick up the rooms of those who live here when they die.
What does that mean?
Just put bricks right across the door and seal the room forever.
That sounds all right.
You can stay here tonight. Everybody knows what they have to do, and we can just write notes if anything out of the ordinary comes up.
Thanks for everything.
Just before sunrise, we got up and had an early breakfast. When the sun rose over our edge of the world today, there would be no light, and there would be no sound. Thursday, the day of black, soundless watermelon.
Our voices would be gone. If you dropped something, there would be no sound. After breakfast, I asked Pauline if she was all right. Are you doing all right?
I feel a little bit better today.
Good. How did you sleep last night?
I slept. Shock yesterday was something. Guess there wasn't anything we could do about it.
That's right. Just take things as they come.
I guess the funeral.
Margaret was dressed in death robes made from watermelon sugar and adorned with beads of foxfire so that the light would shine forever from her tomb. At night, and on the black soundless days, this one. We carried her body out of the trout hatchery and through the living room and out the door and down the steps of iDeath. The sun rose higher in the sky as the procession proceeded in silence to her tomb. She was lowered into her tomb, and the glass door was closed and sealed forever. We took flowers and threw them into the river above her tomb. It is a custom here to hold a dance in the trout hatchery after a funeral. Everyone comes and there's a good band, and much dancing goes on. We had to wait until the next day so that the musical instruments would work.
Everyone appeared to be in fairly good spirits. Musicians took out their instruments and were waiting for the sun to go down. They were ready to go. It'd only be a few more seconds now. I wrote.
I think I understand the secret to my father. The world existed around my father. Most people existed in their imagination. On the outside, and my father, he existed mostly in his though I desperately wish to have spent more time with him, I know that there is nothing to account for the last time except for another dream. Bye, Daddy.
Thanks so much for coming out, you guys. We really appreciate it. As a reminder, we have one more performance on Sunday at 5:30. Also, if you'd like to write a review, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for your support and have a good Fringe.